everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Welcome to my channel. I'm Lacey, and we're besties. Too late, so you can't escape it. I know it's been a hot minute since I posted a full-length video, but you guessed it, it's because I've been doing some shadow work. And in this video, we're gonna talk about what is shadow work, why it is important, and its different steps. So what is shadow work? So as its name suggests, it's working on our shadow side. What does that mean? It means bringing light to part of ourselves that we do not see. In other words, making the unconscious conscious. So it basically is becoming aware of the part of ourselves that we suppressed and rejected, and therefore that created a separation within ourselves. So basically our conscious mind believes something, but our unconscious believes another story. That's why sometimes we do things and then we're like, why do I always do this? Like, I know better, but I end up reacting some way or sabotaging things. So why is shadow work important? So first of all, it helps us become more our true authentic self and feel more whole and less separate, because while doing shadow work we integrate and accept the parts of ourselves that we rejected and suppressed because we wanted to be accepted, or we didn't want to be rejected or hurt. I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say when you were young you wanted to dress a certain way, and everyone was telling you that it's super weird, it doesn't look good, you don't have good taste. So you internalized that you do not have a good taste, and therefore you concluded that you shouldn't dress how you want to dress. So you started looking into fashion videos and magazines and trying your best to look trendy. And now if anyone looks your way, you become insecure. You feel like it's because you're dressed funny or you're not dressed well, and you keep feeling insecure about the way you dress, even if you're dressed exactly like trendy and fashionable. So by becoming aware that you're always feeling insecure about the way you dress, and you ask yourself and remember that it started back in childhood when you were always criticized, maybe even bullied, you are gonna find the link. And then you just accept that you are gonna dress like you wanna dress and don't care about what people think of you. Then that means you accepted that side of you, and now you are gonna express yourself more authentically. So that's just a little example, because shadow work is not only about like the bigger traumas. Yes, it's about that, but it's also about everyday things that are keeping us from fully expressing who we truly are. The second benefit of shadow work is not projecting onto others and blaming them. So most of the time we project parts of ourselves that are not healed onto others, and we blame others whenever we feel triggered. And you can see this literally every day. Maybe people around you or even you getting triggered or reacting a certain way and saying that it's the other person's fault or something, when in reality whatever they said just touched that part of you that you don't want to accept. I'm not saying it's okay for other people to disrespect you, but I'm saying that our reaction to triggers is our responsibility, and the trigger is here only to tell us something, and if we become just aware of it, then the majority of work is done. Because sometimes, and I know that you've been there too, where you are talking to someone and then they become angry and lash out at you at a thing that you did not expect that they are gonna take it the wrong way. You were really coming from a good place and you weren't criticizing them, but they blame you because what you said triggered some wound in them, some rejected part of them maybe, that they don't want to see. Unconsciously they believe that you came from a wrong place, but if they were aware of that part of them and they accepted it and healed maybe the trauma related to it, then they wouldn't blame you. Shadow work also raises your self-esteem and self-worth, because as babies we didn't think that something was wrong with us, but then as we were raised and conditioned, all these comparisons came in, all these comments and bullying, and we kept suppressing and rejecting part of us, and we concluded that we were unworthy because we weren't the most acceptable thing out there, which doesn't mean anything, to be honest, because we're all different. But those conclusions made us react from those feelings of unworthiness and therefore accept less than what we deserve. And therefore, when things go wrong, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We say, see, things always go wrong for me because I'm not worthy of good things. So what are the steps of shadow work? So the first step is awareness. When you notice that there is a pattern in your reactions, in your actions, the events that happen in your life, you become aware that you act a certain way when presented with certain triggers. And being triggered is the key to shadow work, because when you get triggered and you're aware that you're being triggered, then you can heal that. What do we do after noticing the pattern? We go back to the first time we felt that way. It usually is in childhood, but wherever your mind takes you is the moment that affected you most. Let's say, for example, you have a difficulty expressing yourself. Then when you go back and remember that in your childhood everyone was talking over you, everyone was telling you to shut up, no one wanted to listen to what you had to say, or they listened and said negative things about it. So you start in the unconscious that your opinions do not matter. Now maybe you notice that when it's time to express yourself, or when there is a conflict and you want to say your part, you just freeze. Or when a teacher or a boss asks you something, then you just have extreme anxiety and you just can't get the words out. So that leads us to the second step, which is acceptance. In this step, we accept that part of us that we suppressed and rejected. So if we go back to that example, now we accept our opinions and we can make another conclusion, that is, my opinion matters, my voice matters. And in this step, it is highly recommended that you forgive yourself and forgive others as much as you can. I know it's difficult, but not forgiving them only keeps you stuck in that energy, and you don't want that. You want to write another story for yourself, a brand new story. So by accepting our shadow, we integrate that part of ourselves and we end the separation. And you hear a lot of people say integrating the shadow. What that means is accepting it as a part of you, because you only rejected that part because it was rejected when maybe you were younger, probably. And picture this, for example, you are a child and you are fully dependent on your parents or caregivers. So if they tell you that something is wrong with you and reject that part of you, then you are definitely gonna reject that part because you wanna survive, and you can't survive without your parents or caregivers. So in that young person mind, it is the most logical thing to do is to just reject it also and hide it so they can keep peace and stay alive. So your shadow side is not trying to hurt you, and it's not a bad thing. And please don't judge yourself for it. It served a purpose as you were younger, but now you don't need it. Now it's time to be your authentic self, to live a fulfilling life, and to stop sabotaging things that may be beneficial to you just because you are acting unconsciously. So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. Bye bye.